Alright everybody, it is finally time after a pretty empty February. I mean, let me actually look at what happened last month. Yeah, one single show happened last month in February. So after a little bit of a break from the action, it's finally time to get back into some BeamNG Monster Jam action. Just so much stuff has been happening. There hasn't been any good times to put on some events, but it's the perfect time to get back into the action because there are some big changes that have just been made to the BeamNG circuit to make it even more interesting as the season goes on. So, we are here in Worcester, Pennsylvania with the Arena All-Out Series, but, sorry if the mic was a little weird right there, it's pushed back a little bit. If you have not seen the post, the Arena All-Out Series officially has a brand new format. So, time racing will happen, then skills will happen, but now there are two new competitions, just like Triple Threat style and just like Freestyle Mania. There's going to be an exhibition competition in BeamNG's Rock Basher. All competitors will compete in that, and then there will be a UTV best trick. It's not directly a UTV, but it's pretty similar, and it gets the job done. So, all competitions after time racing, because there are 4 scored competitions now, can be scored by you, the fans, so you're not going to want to miss it. Let's get into the action here. The point standings are posted in the description if you're curious, and tonight we will be seeing Matt Doomer filling in for Ashley Sanford in the Megalodon. With all that being said, it's officially time to get things underway. The first BeamNG event of the month, and really the first one in a month. But we're gonna make it worth it. Coming up first in timed racing is Team Throttle Monster's own Cliff Turner and Velociraptor. You might be looking at that truck and thinking, that truck looks a lot cleaner than it did before. That's because half of this lineup is now sporting the all-new Beam Monsters chassis. You see that thing looks nice and fresh, and it's even more realistic, featuring RII. And no, I'm not joking. So, this is going to be a crazy event. It all starts here with Cliff Turner. Cliff Turner still in his rookie season, but he has been improving definitely over time, and he is looking very sharp in this racing pass right now. And it's not going to be bad at all. Goes over the finish line. 15.16. 15.16 is the time for the Velociraptor. I did forget to note, sorry, also the truck was definitely a little loud right there. I did forget to note that the racing format in the Arena All-Out Series, they do a full lap around the pod, and then they cut in the corner and jump over the pod. A little different. So, yeah, that is what's happening here in time racing. If that looked a little weird, that's what's going on. Anyway, the bar has been set by the rookie Cliff Turner and Velociraptor at 15.16 seconds. Now we're going to move into that next competitor. He's been having a rough year. Maybe this new format will benefit him. We're going to have to wait and see. But he's looking to make up some points because he's representing the 15th anniversary of one of the most iconic monster trucks of all time. Sorry, I'm checking back the audio, make sure everything looks okay. It's Fernando Martinez in the Toro Loco. Fernando has less than half the amount of points that your current leader Triton Robbins does, but he can very easily turn that around tonight. He's just got to be on his A game. Now, those Beam Monsters trucks have received some new tunings that might make it a little more stable, but it's not looking like it. He's gonna pull out the save. No. Fernando's rough season continues, getting worse and worse for him. He is not even going to finish the racing pass. He goes over. That's a DNF. And that is going to leave a mark on his performance tonight. Very rough break. Yeah, CPU is definitely a big issue with this new mod, but or I should say the new iterations of it. But it's so much more fun when there's realistic, strict RII and all that stuff. It's going to be a great season here. On that note, we're going to move into that next competitor here in just 1 second. Alright, behind the wheel of the Gravedigger, it's time for Krysten Anderson. Krysten has also not been having the best year ever, but it's been far from her worst year too, I would say. Hard to say. It's been a really interesting year, but we'll see what she can do here. Coming up, Grave Digger. Now, keep in mind also, for all these competitors, this is their first show in over a month. So there's going to be a little bit of rust to knock off. I'm going to expect most drivers probably won't be on their A game until a competition or two in today, if even. So let's see what they can do here. Krysten Anderson up next. Her truck is staying nice and low to the ground, unlike Fernando's truck. Ooh, got a little rough there. Avoids that turn cone, though, which is what she needs to do to not receive a penalty. Tries to cut in this last turn a little tighter. She is going to suffer the same fate as Fernando Martinez. Now, also, I will say, Fernando's, I think, was just the tacky dirt grabbing him. Krysten's looked like she was overdriving it a little bit. I think she took that turn a little bit too tight, and that's something these next drivers have to keep in mind. You got to be a little bit wider and understand taking a wider turn isn't necessarily going slower, because if you take it too tight, you're not going to finish at all, and that's exactly what we just saw for Krysten. So drivers definitely should be taking mental notes throughout the night, because there's a lot that they can do to improve their performance as this goes on. Now, coming up next, this is this driver's first event in the BeamNG Circuit's history. It's Matt Doomer and the Megalodon. Now, Matt, of course, not a full-time driver, filling in for the one and only Ashley Sanford, who has been out for a little while, especially here on the BeamNG Circuit. Same thing stays true now, so Matt Doomer and the Megalodon getting ready to go. 1 second here. Alright, we're ready to get started. It's your fourth racer of the night. Alright, Matt Doomer off to a nice start here. Keeping it nice and steady. He could get a good sum of points for Team Megalodon in this show if he can get this first competition done nicely. It was a little bit wide, but he gets it back well, and it's a 15.63. Another very clean pass. So we've kind of seen a big dichotomy here between drivers with the cleanest passes of the year and drivers with the worst passes of the year. Fortunately for Matt Doomer, he is going to find himself in second place right now with a 15.63. And that's great for Team Megalodon as a whole. You know, if you're in Ashley's perspective, you never know what a fill-in driver is going to do for you, especially when it's someone that's never had a full-time seat like Matt Doomer, but he did a great job at coming through. Up next, Carson Williams, ThunderROARus, Team Throttle Monster, of course, a team known for being particularly fast when it comes to racing. Let's see what he can get done here. Right now, his own teammate, Cliff Turner, the rookie, does hold that top spot in racing. Carson Williams, ThunderROARus is getting started here. A little bit of a slower start to this racing pass, but it's not actually going to hurt him, I don't think. It's helping him keep that truck nice and upright. This last turn has messed up a lot of guys. He's going to go a little bit too wide in it. It's not going to lead him to a DNF like it did for some competitors, but his time is a 16.18, which is not quite going to get him at the top. Shout out to Dylan Selfridge. Again, shout out to Dylan Selfridge out there. Man, best guy in the community, I tell you. No, this chassis, it's definitely an interesting one. And even with a lot of practice, you know, it just comes down to the fact that it gets so hiked up on the dirt, no matter how much practice is thrown at it, all these drivers are still going to struggle. And, you know, even an hour practice before the show happened, which is true, anything can happen when that dirt's just a little too tacky. And that's what we're seeing demonstrated by a good deal of competitors here. But Carson Williams making sure he's not one of them as he looks to find himself in first place once again. Now we're going to shift things over. We saw a good deal from our new chassis there in those first few competitors. Throwing it back to a classic now with Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker. Tony's truck engine is roaring. Beautiful sounding machine. Let's see what he can do. Staged and ready at the line. He goes green. Cliff Turner, the rookie, still holding that lead here in racing. But Tony Ochs not looking like he's going to make it easy for Cliff to walk away with it. He's going to clip the pod, though, and that is going to be very bad for Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker. He completely spun out. Now, because he did hit that wall, the RII is issued. He will not be able to finish his pass, and that will be a 5-point deduction on the Earthshaker. That was not even the truck getting hiked up. He went just too tight in that turn, and he caught the pod. And, you know, we've seen a lot of drivers going too tight and running into some bad mistakes because of it. That's what we see right there for Tony Ochs. So, you know, proving there, even if, you know, you're the best of the best, sometimes it's just not quite going to be your cleanest event ever. And we see that once again for Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker, as he's going to go over. 2 drivers left to go. Again, 2 drivers left to go. Now, the crazy thing, pun intended, with these drivers is that they're both brothers. And on top of that, they're both independents. So, these drivers doing a great job holding down the fort on this series. Please welcome Montana Robbins, playing Krazy. Currently sits 2nd place on the year with 48 points to his name. Can he find himself in the top spot? He's thrown his brother. A lot of that's going to come down to this pass right here. Montana's been very consistent so far this year, but his truck's a lot bouncier than others. Sometimes that can cause it to get hiked up. Sometimes it doesn't. Let's see what happens. Now, we have seen a lot of trucks hiked up. All these drivers need to keep that in mind now. This is evidently taskier dirt than what they've seen previously this season. Montana looks like he is understanding that, though. This is a spectacular racing pass for the plain Krazy, and he is going to get it done. Montana Robbins in the plain Krazy is going to put down a 15.10. Again, that's a 15.10. He is your new leader tonight. Again, Montana Robbins, plain Krazy at the top. Yes. Reading the chat there. Everyone who enjoys something like BeamNG should definitely make some content about it. You know, that's how communities form. Always going to be supportive of that. Last driver to go. He has been leading this series since the first show. He has yet to lose his season lead. Can he keep it up? It's Triton Robbins in the Krazy train. His brother just grabbed the timed racing lead. Can he ride that wave for the team and grab a lead of his own? Well, we're just going to have to wait and see. I believe Triton ended up with a DNF in his last racing competition because he got a little out of bounds. Let's see if he can figure that out right here. He's ready to go. Krazy train is off. Triton Robbins. He's going to cut the pod just like Tony Ochs did. He's going to prevent the truck from going over. Well driven by Triton, but unfortunately, that has really hurt his time in this pass. He is going to be able to recover pretty nicely, but that time for the Krazy train, a 19.12. Again, a 19.12. That's going to put him in 5th place on the night, which means your racing winner is Montana Robbins and the plain Krazy, and Cliff Turner is actually going to end up in 2nd. So a lot of interesting things happening here with the points. Triton's still going to be able to pick up a good 4 points, but we're going to have to take a look here and see what's happening in the series standings following racing. Triton now has 59 points to his name. Montana is quickly catching up, though, now at 56. Tony Ochs has 46 before that penalty is applied. Carson Williams all the way up at 50. Ashley Sanford and Matt Doomer find themselves with 44 points. Krysten Anderson with 35. Fernando Martinez with 27. And Cliff Turner climbing the ranks with 23. A lot of great performances right there. Welcome, Hyper, to the stream. Alright. It's now time to get into the scored competition. So there's going to be 4 scored competitions. Again, that's 4 competitions. So you fans got to keep your eyes peeled because there's a lot of action headed your way right now, and you don't want to miss any of it. Now that first competition coming up next, as usual, is going to be the 2-wheel skills competition. Drivers will have 2 attempts to do the best 2-wheel moves they can come up with. And coming up next, a driver who just had a bit of a rough night in timed racing. Let's get that out of the way. Please welcome Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker. So Tony Ochs, off to a rough start to the event, got last place in racing. And when you're in the top 3 on the series, or I guess top 5, that's not really, no, he was in 3rd coming into the show. So Tony Ochs really needs to make up some points. But that's going to put him in a bit of a rough position right now. He's on to those front 2 BKTs, loses it. Gets it back, but he runs out of room. Maybe that's a bit of that rustiness coming back around for Tony Ochs. You know, you don't drive for a few weeks, you're going to start to be a little bit rusty, but he's getting ready to go. Tony Ochs, 1 more hit to go. Now this is a little bit more of what I expect to see from Tony Ochs. Nice balance and precision all the way up the pod. And he is keeping that truck there very nicely. Perfectly sitting on the pod. Puts it in reverse. He's going over. He's going over. Nice. Very nice balance and precision for the Earthshaker. Tries to combo it once again. And that's going to do it. Let's hear it for Tony Ochs, Earthshaker. Tony giving it some nice flare right there, getting a little bit crossed up onto 2 tires, even onto 1 tire. Evidently doing what he can to try to make up that lost ground from racing. And let's get those scores locked in. Remember, you fans all get the opportunity to score, with those scores, of course, being matched up with an expert score. Get those scores in for the Earthshaker. No score to beat. That run sets the bar. Alright, last call for scores, or it will go to the experts. And it looks like it will. So, that score tonight for Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker is, it's going to be an 8.681. Again, an 8.681. Sets the bar here in skills. Up next, Krysten Anderson and the Gravedigger. She has definitely been improving in this competition pretty heavily over the course of her recent career. Let's see if she can demonstrate that here tonight in Worcester. Staged and ready for that first hit. Goes for the reverse popper. She's going over though. Let's hear it for Krysten Anderson. Tough luck right there. And I think maybe in part that's that new chassis being a struggle for her. You know, getting a new chassis isn't just getting a fresh new truck. It's now you have to figure out, you know, how is it different? What's the balancing point feel like? Where's the control? Krysten still trying to figure that out with her brand new chassis. And unfortunately for her, that's going to do it. If your fan scores in for the Gravedigger, experts are going to give that a 2. Looks like from the fans it's a 3.1. No, sorry. Experts give it a 2. Fans give it a... Alright, fans give it a 2.6. Experts give it a 2. That's a 2.3 for Krysten Anderson. Currently enough for second place, 2.300. Up next, one of the best drivers in this competition in all of the sport. It's Armando Castro and El Toro Loco. Sorry, I might have said Armando Castro. This is Fernando Martinez, who has not been having the night he's been looking for. Let's see what he can do. You know, part of skills is you gotta not only try to do the best move you can, you gotta try to be better than everyone else. And sometimes that means you gotta get a little bit innovative. So I'm interested to see what Fernando can do to try to set himself apart from the rest of the lineup. Looks like he's got a little something in mind here. Could be a very risky move. No saying if he'll be able to pull it off successfully, but he looks committed to do it. Tries to pop it off the backflip, couldn't quite do it, but he is going to trade it out and do a very nice wheelie instead. So I'll give it to him. He did make that move work regardless, and now he is balancing that truck very nicely on those front two PKT tires. Fernando Martinez figuring his things out here in skills. He really needs a good skills run here. He's been having such a rough season. This is a great opportunity for him to make up a lot of good points. And it's looking like he's going to do that here. He's just got to keep his balance under control. And he is going to save it. One more move to go for the Toro Loco. Fernando, of course, trying to do what he can to find himself atop that leaderboard. He goes back in for that backflip popper, and he gets it successfully. So the Toro Loco giving us something a little bit new here, trying to get some more out of this maneuver, but that's going to do it. Let's hear it for the Toro Loco. Oh, man. He's got a little bit of a breakage to figure out before freestyle. I'm sure the crew will be able to get that done. My apologies. I completely forgot to change the title as well. Let me correct that. Alright, there we go. Sorry about that. Scores are locked. Experts are going to give that a 9.25. Fans give it an 8.33. That score for the Toro Loco, an 8.790. So your new leader is Fernando Martinez in the Toro Loco. That 8.790. Your new leader here in the two-wheel skills competition. Fernando got a little bit of a broken axle there. Hopefully they can get that truck back in tip-top shape. Now coming up next, this is a driver who's got to get it done because he is trying to hold on to that series lead, but after a rough night in racing, he's got to put in some work to get that lead back. Please welcome Triton Robbins, Krazy Train. Triton is really one of the most consistent drivers in this competition, so if anyone could get some good points here, I wouldn't be surprised for him to be the one. But let's see if that can happen. He's getting nice and balanced and under control here on this first hit to get things started. It's such a... Every time I see Triton's skills, it just feels so robotic. I don't know how he manages to keep that truck so controlled. Does a slap wheelie right there as well. Slap moonwalks it. That was spectacular. He's got one more move to go. Let's see what he can do. Triton Robbins, Krazy Train. Pops it up. Second attempt here. Fans, keep your eyes peeled. Remember, scoring is your duty. He's going crazy. Trying to save this move. Oh, man. He just went a little crazy at the end of that freestyle run. That's gonna do it for Triton Robbins. Krazy Train, get those scores locked in. Oh gosh. Keep in mind that score to beat does currently belong to the Toro Loco with an 8.790. Get those scores in for Krazy Train. Fans are going to give that performance an 8.1. Experts a little higher, giving it an 8.75. Again, an 8.75 from the experts. Sorry, it's actually an 8 flat from the fans. 8 from the fans. 8.75 from the experts. 8.375. Currently going to put him in third place. Yeah, I was talking a little too fast and I started choking on thin air. But fortunately, I got a couple water bottles right here. We're going to keep things rolling. We're halfway into the second competition of the night, but remember, there are now 5 competitions, so we're going to have to keep things running smooth here. Up next, Carson Williams, ThunderROARus. Let's see what Carson can do. He might be doing something we haven't seen yet. He is eyeing that log stack. Yet to see this in action, so not even sure if this is going to get the kick he wants it to, but there's always that chance. He's feeling it out. He is still trying to get himself back in that top spot on the series, and it is a perfect pop right there from the log stack. Carson Williams, like I said with Krysten, has definitely been improving when it comes to these two-wheel moves throughout his recent career, this year specifically. I mean, look at this. He walked it down the pod. He's going to walk it back to the pod. Huge landing on top of the pod. And he is going to walk it all the way across. Very nicely done for Carson Williams and the ThunderROARus. One more move to go. Pops it onto those front two. Nicely done. Walking it back now, still trying to get the hang of this competition. That is what we're looking for. A beautiful combination maneuver from the front to the rear. He's even trying to get maybe a one more little move out of that right there, but that's going to do it for Carson Williams. And the ThunderROARus puts it on top of the pod to celebrate a great performance overall for that Robo Dinosaur. Keep in mind that score to beat, 8.790. For Fernando Martinez, let's see if that performance right there by ThunderROARus was enough. Let's see, fan scores coming in. Experts are going to give that run an 8.5. Fans are going to give it an 8.2. So that score for ThunderROARus, an 8.350. Currently enough for fourth place, 8.350. Coming up next, the fill-in driver, Matt Doomer, and the Megalodon. Now, Matt Doomer might not have a lot of experience behind the wheel of Monster Jam trucks, but he sure does look like a natural whenever he gets behind the wheel of one. It's very impressive to be able to just hop in a truck and get it done with so little seat time. Let's see what he can do here. Feeling out that ramp. Pops it up. Nice work. Like I was just saying, Matt Doomer doesn't have a lot of experience, but it doesn't mean he looks any less professional than some of those drivers who have been doing it for a very long time. You know, even just an example, Matt Doomer is doing a much better job than Krysten Anderson did tonight, and that's just a demonstration of how that passion can drive you. Matt Doomer, a guy who's always really wanted to drive monster trucks, gets the opportunity, and now he is doing a great job filling in for his would-be driver, Ashley Sanford. One more move to go. Looks like he's eyeing another log hit right here. Let's see what he goes for. This is his only other attempt, so he's got to make it count. Very nice work for the Megalodon. So far, every driver's had 2 good hits. Matt Doomer is not going to be any exception to that. I mean, this is very impressive to be a complete rookie behind the wheel and pull off two very solid moonwalk nose wheelies. I mean, it's great stuff. Matt Doomer, Megalodon, gets it done. And the two-wheel skills competition, that score to beat belongs to El Toro Loco, 8.790. Get those scores locked in. All right. Scores coming in. Fan scores come in at a 5.15. Experts are going to give him a 7. That score for the Megalodon is 6.075. That's currently enough for 5th place. So not even last place. You know, he might be a little new, but he's not pulling any last place cars. Matt Doomer keeping himself in the competition. Up next, Cliff Turner, Velociraptor. From one rookie to another, Cliff Turner. Team Throttle Monster Zone, and Team Throttle Monster's been having a pretty solid night. Although Carson Williams wasn't quite able to get that top spot here in skills. Let's see if Cliff Turner can get it done for the team. He's eyeing another ramp we have not seen used yet. He's eyeing those tires. Let's see if he can make it work. It's a little bit less reliable, I would say. He's gonna make it happen. Oh, wow. Very impressive stuff for a driver with as little experience as Cliff Turner. He let that truck balance onto that one tire, set it down a little bit early. But you got to remember, I mean, this is a guy with really not a lot of seat time. That was very impressive, even if it was short. One more move to go. And this is a little bit more up the alley of maybe those fans that want to see something a little bit more controlled. Something he has been working on in this 2026 season a lot. Doing a good job keeping it balanced, Very nice. Let's hear it for Cliff Turner, Velociraptor. See ya, Hyper. Cliff Turner, 2 great hits. Are they as crazy as other hits we've seen? Maybe not, but you got to remember, I mean, this is a guy with really not any seat time to his name, and he's still going out there and putting down some moves that are, in my opinion, even crazier than things we've seen from someone like Tony Ochs in this event. And I think that's a great demonstration of talent. Get those scores locked in. See ya, Hyper. All right, scores or locks. That expert score for the Velociraptor comes in 8.25. Fan score pretty high as well, an 8.2. That's an 8.225 for the Velociraptor. That is currently enough for 5th place, Cliff Turner, Velociraptor. One more driver to go. He was your racing winner, Montana Robbins, playing Krazy. Montana, like I said with his brother, one of the most consistent drivers in the entire sport. When it comes to this competition, let's see what he can do. Oh, very cool. That's a move you don't see too often. He's going to actually jump over the pod, clip the pod on his way down, and use it to push him into a technical maneuver, pops it back, combos it into a wheelie, and now he is walking a wheelie around the track, back onto those front 2 tires. This is what I was saying about these brothers earlier. Absolutely unbelievable. One more move to go. Let's see what he can do. Hidden stage, getting ready to go. Nice truck control. He's losing it though. Oh no! Never mind, he's got it back. Montana Robbins playing crazy, given the first big wow factor of the night with a huge save to end out his skills run. That is what we've been looking for. Even walks it back after going up and going over. That is what makes a great performance. Is it gonna be enough? Score to be an 8.79 for the El Toro Loco. Let's see. Fan scores are coming in. Highest fan score of the night. It's an 8.85. Experts are going to give it a 9. So that score is an 8.925. Your winner, Montana Robbins, playing crazy. That means he has won both competitions of the night so far. Montana Robbins is currently going undefeated. Very impressive work. With that being said, he has also closed the gap on his brother even more, and the points chase is looking interesting. Triton Robbins sits at 64 points, but Montana Robbins now also has 64 points. So evidently, there is that family battle, family feud is still going for those two. That's going to be something to watch as this goes on. Tony Ochs goes up to 52, Carson Williams up to 54. Ashley and Matt Doomer up to 46. Krysten up to 36. Fernando Martinez jumps up to 34. And Cliff Turner up to 26. So, now there is a tie for the lead between the two Robbins brothers. And this is where things are going to get interesting. Because these two drivers, Montana has yet to get the series lead. Triton has yet to lose it. Montana can do the craziest thing tonight. But there are still 3 competitions left to go for that to happen. We're now going to move into Monster Jam halftime, but don't be fooled. This isn't a break from the action. We have 2 halftime competitions coming your way. If you're new here or you haven't been reading the post, you might not know this, but you heard that correct. There are 2 halftime competitions going down. First, exhibition freestyle runs in the Rock Basher, then the UTV Best Trick competition. So with that being said, we're just going to get right into the action here. Drivers get to do a 1-minute performance in that Rock Basher machine. They get to do whatever they want. And they got to try to get the best score they can because everything they do is counting towards their season points. So with all that being said, we're going to get started. This is the first time this competition is ever seeing use on the circuit. And Krysten Anderson in the Gravedigger is up first. You see that crazy Rock Basher machine. She's got 1 minute behind the wheel of that thing to do whatever she can to wow you fans, the judges. Let's see what she can do. Again, 1 minute to her name, and it's all counting towards the season. Get started with some nice air. It's what you like to see. Let's see what else she can do. You got to be a little faster around those corners, I'd say. She lost out on a few valuable seconds right there. She's doing a good job at getting some nice action into this performance so far. Great wheelie. Goes down a little bit. Downsides that ramp. Very nice. What else can she do? She's got about half the time filled. Clears the pod. Again, got to have that arena spatial awareness. Make sure you're not going too far out with such a fast machine. Big wheelie. That's what you like to see. Got about 15 seconds left to go. Huge air for Krysten Anderson. About 10 seconds left to go. If she can fit in one more move. More good air. Oh, what? She goes up and over. And that is going to do it for Krysten Anderson and the Gravedigger. Get your fan scores in. Again, get your scores locked in. That is the first ever exhibition freestyle performance the BeamNG circuit has ever seen. I hope your fans liked it because we got plenty more coming. Get those scores locked in. San Diego, the event crashed, and so freestyle didn't happen. So it just never got posted because it was weird to have a show with no freestyle. Yeah, Rock Bashers actually do great sidewalls. Maybe we'll see that tonight if these drivers put their minds to it. But we won't know unless it happens. Fan scores come in at a 6.4. Experts are going to put that at a 7. Krysten Anderson, a 6.700. Again, a 6.700 sets the bar in this competition. Coming up next, Tony Ochs, Earthshaker. Now, Tony, if anyone, maybe has a little more experience. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I know he drove around the Triple Threat days. And this whole new event format was actually directly inspired by Triple Threat. Sorry, for Triple Threat and Freestyle Mania. Those were both two of the biggest things that inspired this new format. And Tony Ochs was an arena driver around the time that was a thing happening. So maybe he has a little bit more confidence driving some different vehicles on a Monster Jam track. He's off to a good start. Nice save. Going very wide around the course, but that means he has more room to accelerate up to some nice full sends. Oh no, fans, keep your eyes peeled. It might be happening. He does the backflip, lands it perfectly. I don't know why he's not finding reverse, but it's looking pretty cool. Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker. He's coming down to the last little bit of time here. Big send, and he has just destroyed that thing on the last send of his performance. Let's hear it for Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker. A very, very exciting performance. And that's going to give Krysten Anderson a good run for money and give Tony Ochs a good opportunity to make up some of the points, some of the many points that he has lost during this show. He's definitely been having a bit of a rough time, so this could potentially be a big moment for him to grab some of those points he's lost out on. All right, score to beat 6.700. And let's take a look. Fan score is 8.9. Sorry, 8.8. Expert scores are a 9. That's an 8.900. Your new leader is Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker. Yes. I knew there was a timer. I haven't gotten around to using it yet because I don't like to mess with the setup. I just don't. It never crosses my mind to change it, so I just don't touch it. All right. Up next. We got Carson Williams, ThunderROARus. Let's see what Carson Williams can do here. Nice hang time to get this run started. Carson Williams trying to make his way back into that series lead that he once upon a time did hold. And he's off to a pretty fun start, all things considered, in this Rock Basher performance. Oh, wow. Huge wheelie. And he's trying to get technical. That was incredible. You can see that wheel is standing up on the track. Carson Williams, that's a wow moment for him. Cross-threading it, something we have not seen quite yet. Making use of that whole floor space out there. Clears his own wheel. Oh, no! Runs out of room to play. That's going to do it for Carson Williams, ThunderROARus. Carson gives it his best effort out there. Get those scores locked in. So again, score to beat is at 8.900 for the Earthshaker. Alright. Scores are locked. It is a 7 from the fans. Expert's going to give it a 7.25. That's a 7.125 for Carson Williams, putting him in second place right now in the competition. Alright, coming up next to the track, the fill-in driver. Now getting to do something a little different. Please welcome Matt Doomer and the Megalodon. These things might be small, but they've got a lot of power to them. Matt Doomer looks like he's having a little bit of fun with that fact. He's got 1 minute to let it all hang out. Nice wheelie kicks things off. Oh, yes, that's what we're looking for. Nice big wheelie for the Megalodon. Goes right over that turn cone, says it's not in my way. Nothing stops me. And now he's got about half the time left, and that is a huge, huge wheelie for the Megalodon. That's what he's been needing to put down. Oh, no. Yeah, that's done. That's going to do it. The first driver to not fill his time in the competition, Matt Doomer. And the Megalodon gets a little crossed up on that jump. And it's going to send him up. And it's going to send him over. Tough break there. You know, when you're in a position like that where you're filling in and you really want to give it your best effort, you never want to go over early like that. But can't win them all. And that's what we're going to see right there. Score to beat. Still an 8.900 for Tony Ochs, ThunderROARus. Sorry, Earthshaker. Fans are going to give Matt Doomer a 5.9. Nope, 5.7, sorry. Experts going to give him a 6.25. So that score tonight is a 5.975. Currently enough for 4th place. Up next, your season points leader, Triton Robbins. Crazy Train. Let's see what Triton Robbins can do behind the wheel of this guy. He's got to make something happen if he wants to hold on to that lead. His brother Martinez is right on his tail right now. Obviously not a position you want to be in. Triton Robbins going high speed around the track, trying to make things happen. A nice wheelie. What else can he fit into this run? Got a lot of time left, but he keeps spinning out just before he gets to the ramp. And it's eating up a lot of his time without giving him a lot of action here. So he's got to work on that. Only driver so far to really have that issue. Hard nose down. Can he get it back? No, he cannot. Unfortunately for Triton. Maybe that's just the pressure of being in that position weighing down on him. But he's going to leave 17 seconds on the clock. That's 17 seconds unfilled. 17 seconds. That could have counted a lot to that run. Tough break for Triton Robbins. Score to beat. Still an 8.900 for the Earthshaker. Alright. No fan scores coming in for the Crazy Train. Score to beat. Of course, that 8.900. That score for Triton Robbins' Crazy Train is going to be a 6.025. Only enough for 4th place. Up next, the rookie Cliff Turner, Velociraptor. Cliff Turner, let's see what he can do. Obviously still a little bit newer behind the wheel of monster trucks, but when it comes to a different off-roader, it's a little bit of a different vibe. And maybe we'll see that here with this Rock Basher machine. Cliff Turner, he's off to the best event of his career so far in this show. Let's see if he can keep riding that wave. Even just filling the time right now could get him in the top 3. So let's see if he can get that done. Nice air right now. I'll say I'd like maybe a little more momentum, but I don't really have any complaints so far. He's just getting it done, delivering a nice and smooth run. A big wheelie right there. Tries to get a stoppie. Oh no, that front bumper is going to grab. And unfortunately, Cliff Turner, Velociraptor, leaves some valuable time on the clock. I wouldn't even really say that's entirely his fault. That was a mix of that bumper grabbing and those tires not being able to lock up and save it. Unfortunately there, that is going to wrap up that Rock Basher performance for Cliff Turner. Score to beat still an 8.900. Let's see those fan scores. All right. Fan scores coming in. Fans are going to give it a 5.6. Experts will give it a 5. That's a 5.3 for Cliff Turner. Currently enough for 6th place. 5.300. Only 2 more competitors to go. Coming up next, Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco. If anyone's really looking for some good points right now, it's definitely Fernando Martinez. He's been having a very slow start to the season. Oh no! Whoa! That's what Fernando Martinez needs out of this performance. A huge wow moment. And now he is on track to become that exhibition winner. But he's got to keep it up. He might be eyeing the Morgan & Morgan backflip. Nails it. Fernando Martinez and the Earth Shaker. He's still got, in the Earth Shaker and the El Toro Loco still got a little bit more time to try and deliver in this performance. What else can he do? Huge air. He's going up and over again. Wants the save, but there is no coming back from that. Unfortunately, those differentials, because these are new machines, are not quite designed to lock up yet. That will be changed in the future. Of course, this is kind of the experimental show for this new format. So a lot of these vehicles still got a lot of changes to be made. This is just to test out how everything's looking. All right. Score to beat is an 8.900 for the Earth Shaker. Experts are going to give Fernando Martinez a 9.25. Fans are going to give it a 6.1. Hold on. Yeah, fans are going to give it a 6.1. So that scores a 6.7. Sorry, 7.675. 7.675. That is second place right now. So good points for Fernando Martinez. The Rock Bashers are part of it. And then after that, we're going to have a Hopper Best Trick competition where they'll have one attempt to do the best move they can, driving one of the hoppers, but the crawler versions that have really nice suspension on them. All right. Oh. One more driver to go. He has currently been sweeping the entire show, so if he can get it done right here, he could get a ton of points and pass his brother Triton Robbins. It's Montana Robbins playing Krazy. Now Montana has a lot of things he can do here. He can go out and try to win and get a big lead, or he can play it a little safer and ensure that he's going to get some more valuable points on the season We'll see what he goes for. Wow, first driver to really do a stoppie that didn't nose over here. What else can he do? Nice, smooth landing. Keeping this run nice and under controlled so far. This might change that. Nope. ThunderROARus doing a great job of just making sure that this truck is balanced, under control. And gonna get him some nice points if he keeps it up. Looks like he might have gone for another little bit of a stoppie right there. Couldn't quite get it. But the point still stands. He's looking like he's on the way to fill time. Oh, what? Let's hear it for ThunderROARus playing Krazy. What was that? I don't know what to even say to that move. That was absolutely spectacular. ThunderROARus filling the clock, an incredible save. And now, he very well could be looking at a clean sweep if he can keep this up. That was incredible. Fan scores come in at a 9.2. Whoops. 9.2 from the fans. 9.25 from the experts. That's a 9.225, which means ThunderROARus does it again. He is undefeated tonight so far. That is incredible. He is holding down the fort, and he is now the first driver of the entire series to pass Triton for that series lead. ThunderROARus has officially dethroned his own brother. So Triton currently has 67 points. Montana now has 72. Tony Ochs up at 59. Carson Williams also at 59. The team Megalodon at 48. Krysten Anderson goes up to 40. Fernando Martinez also up at 40, so he's climbing that chart. And Cliff Turner at 27, still struggling to get up there. See ya, Maniac. Alright. That was awesome. But what if I told you there's still another brand new competition to check out? That's right. It's time for the first time in BeamNG circuit history for the Hopper Best Trick competition. Now, unfortunately, these don't have as much as a flair as the Rock Bashers did. Still trying to figure that part out. But we're going to get things started here with Krysten Anderson and the Gravedigger. So she has one move behind the wheel of this guy to make something happen. She can play it safe or she can get a little risky. Let's see what she decides to go for. Krysten needing to hunt up some points. She's sitting in 6th place and is about to drop down one if she can't make up some good points here. Let's see what she can do. A huge sky wheelie. Oh, man. That was a crazy move. Lands hard. Breaks off that spare tire. Who needs it anyway? And ends up on the side of that machine. What a crazy maneuver there for Krysten Anderson. With a hard crash. There is no score to beat. This is the first time ever that one of these performances has taken place here on the BeamNG circuit, setting the bar for the entire competition's history. Krysten Anderson score to beat does not yet exist. That score for Krysten Anderson is a 5.692 from the expert. Again, 5.692 from the expert. 6.1 from the fans. That's a 5.896. Again, a 5.896. Krysten Anderson. Up next, Matt Doomer, Megalodon. Let's see what Matt can do. Still looking to make something happen for that very first time in one of these hopper machines. He's getting ready to go here. Looks like he wants to go technical. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Let's hear it for Matt Doomer. Looks like he tried to do that first attempt. Well, there's no first attempt. There only is one attempt. Looks like he tried to get a popper. Couldn't quite do it. Tried to throw it into a wheelie. Couldn't quite do that either. Tried to just jump it off and then maybe do another popper or something like that. But unfortunately for him, nothing was quite working out. I'm sure that's not exactly what Team Megalodon wanted to see. 2.1 from the fans, 2 from the experts, 2.050 for the Megalodon, enough for second place. Up next, please welcome Cliff Turner, Velociraptor. Let's see what Cliff Turner can do. Gotta make things happen. Obviously, still being a little bit newer to that motorsports career. Never know what he can pull out of his pocket. Let's see what he goes for right here. Didn't quite like that lineup. Goes right over the turn cone. Let's see what he does here. He's got an interesting set of options he could potentially go with. Goes for the reverser. Trying to do it again. All right. Let's hear it for wait. Oh, Cliff Turner. Velociraptor still looks like he's got a little bit of work to do before he can figure out that new thing. Some drivers, I'm sure it'll come a little bit more naturally than others. Someone a little bit more on the rookie side of his career, like Cliff Turner, evidently, still got a bit of work to do. And figuring out how to handle those machines. Score to beat 5.896. Get those scores locked in. Alright, fans give it a 4.9. Experts give it a 4. That's a 4.450. Currently enough for second place. Up next, looking to regain the series lead, Triton Robbins, Krazy Train. Triton Robbins, he's got to make it happen right now. He really doesn't have a choice. It's all or nothing for him. He can still make back the points and be on top after this event, but he's got to do really, really good in both this competition and freestyle, but he did not figure it out either. Got up onto the nose, the first driver to really do it successfully, but there was just too much momentum. You know, and here's the thing with this, right? It looks really monotonous, like no one knows what they're doing, but that means that when the first driver comes out and puts down a really good performance, it's going to look a lot cooler and probably end up scoring a lot higher. So something to keep in mind, is kind of a double-edged sword when a lot of these drivers are having a bad night. 1 from the experts, 1.1 from the fans, 1.050. Not going to do it for Triton Robbins. Halfway down, halfway to go. Up next, Carson Williams, ThunderROARus. Let's see what Carson can do. He's had a lot of time to take notes from other drivers, see what does and doesn't work. Can he keep that all in mind for his first ever hopper performance? Looks like he can. Oh, nice. It was a nice little move there for the ThunderROARus. I think definitely a little bit of anxiety when you watch so many drivers, you know, roll over. You worry, I don't want to roll over too. And it looked like he just went a little too heavy on the gas right there, and kind of overcompensated for the fact that the truck was going over. So, or not truck, but you get what I'm saying. Adjusted, put in a little too much gas. Experts give it a 5.5. Fans give it a 5.9. 5.700. Currently enough for third place. Well, that's second place. Second place for ThunderROARus. 3 more drivers to go. Coming up next, Tony Ochs, Earthshaker. Can Tony Ochs be the first driver of the night to really get it done? He's got a lot of options out here and nothing's off limits. So let's see what he ends up going for. Score to beat is still less than a 6. So all we really need to see is one good performance from really any driver to potentially come out on top. Tony Ochs looks like he wants to do that right here in the Earthshaker, feeling out the slope of that ramp. First, we haven't seen a lot of drivers do this yet. It's a good way to gauge what he needs to do, though, and that might get him a little bit of a better attempt. Pops it up. Pops it up. Nicely done. Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker, first driver to make something pretty good happen. Trying to get one more combination out of it. But that's going to do it. Let's hear it. Tony Ochs, Earthshaker. Tony Ochs finally going to be the first driver of the night to really figure that thing out. Get down into the technicality and have a pretty nice maneuver all around. Alright, experts are going to give that an 8. Fans an 8.9. 8.450. Your new leader is Tony Ochs, Earthshaker. 2 more drivers left to go. Up next, representing 25 years of one of the greatest monster trucks ever made, Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco. Let's see what he can do. Can he make this happen? Anything goes. He's got the opportunity to put down the move of the night. Let's see. He's eyeing the backflip. First driver of this competition to do that yet. Let's see what he ends up going for right here. Fernando Martinez. Oh, no way! Oh my gosh! I don't know if that was intentional, but he just went out there and put down almost a double backflip in that El Toro Loco machine. That was awesome. Unfortunately, it's not going to be successful, and that might come back to bite him in the scores, but that was still one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen. Whoops. I almost thought that was the last run. It wasn't. Score to beat. How do I get out of this? Alright, there we go. Score to beat still belongs to Earthshaker with an 8.450. Fans are going to give it a 9.6. Experts are going to give it an 8.25. 8.925. Your new leader, Fernando Martinez. El Toro Loco. Fernando Martinez. Fernando Martinez finds himself on the top. And I just got to say, if he can perfect that move throughout the course of this season, he could easily start to get some more good points to his name. I don't know if that was just a coincidence or if that was intentional, but now he might have his move for the season figured out that he can work on as these events go along. Up last, so far he has clean sweeped the entire event. Montana Robbins, plain crazy. Well, I will say Montana's success so far has been pretty plain crazy. Let's see if he can keep that up. We've seen a lot of rough luck in this competition so far. Will Montana be added to the list? Keeping the combination going. He still is trying to keep it alive. There we go. He gets the bite he was looking for. He's going to be the first driver to actually walk a moonwalk up the pod a little bit. But he's going to overcook it. And that thing goes up and over. So unfortunately, you know, Montana's been having a great night. And having gone undefeated, I'm sure he was looking to keep that streak alive. But he's not going to be able to land that last maneuver. And it did take him a little while to get into that maneuver as well. Alright, score to beat 8.925. Fans give him a 7.9. Experts give him a 7. That's a 7.450. Not enough, which means Fernando Martinez is your winner with his first competition win of the night. Tony Ochs came in a close second with the best successful run that we saw. Montana, despite not winning, still does end up in third. Krysten Anderson gets fourth. Carson Williams fifth. Cliff Turner sixth. Matt Doomer seventh. And Triton Robbins got last, which means Montana is getting a huge lead now. Triton Robbins only 68 points. Montana's up at 78. Tony Ochs up at 66. Carson Williams up at 63. Matt Doomer goes to 50. Krysten Anderson 45. Fernando Martinez up to 48, which means he's starting to climb up those ranks. He could very easily find himself in the top 5 after this event. And Cliff Turner hits 30 points. So a lot of interesting conversations there coming out of that competition. Montana Robbins has now made himself unbeatable right now. There's absolutely no way for anyone to take Montana Robbins out of that overall event win and the series lead. So Montana Robbins on a huge night right now. That's got to feel great. But with all that being said, we're going to get started here with freestyle. We've got an all-out lineup of drivers, of course, all ready to go and burn it down. They'll all have 75 seconds on the clock. And a lot of drivers are still trying to find out their new chassis. They're going to have to do a good job at honing in their skills, because the last thing we need to see is a bunch of drivers roll over and get zeros for their scores. But it is very possible after how racing went earlier tonight. Alright. It's time to get started in Monster Jam Freestyle. Up first, Krysten Anderson, Gravedigger. Krysten's been having a very rough night. I believe she only has 13 points right now. I'll have to look back at that after the course of this freestyle run. That tacky dirt looks like it is still playing into her driving a little bit. Let's see if she can figure it out in her freestyle run. Krysten Anderson gets started with a very big, nice wheelie. What you like to see. Then things turn back around now. And she is trying to get her first freestyle win of the season. I think she might have actually got one in Rosemont. I could be wrong. Now we're going to see the best skills demonstration from her all year on the BeamNG circuit. Huge sky wheelie. That's what you like to see. What you don't like to see is the whole truck being demolished from it. That's going to do it for Krysten Anderson, Gravedigger. Only fills about half the clock before that truck decided to implode. And a rough night for Krysten continues to get rougher. There's not yet a score to beat. This run is setting the bar, so Krysten Anderson trying to demonstrate some talent. And also set the bar kind of high. Alright. Let's see. Experts are going to give that run a 4.5. Fans give it a 6.1. That score for Gravedigger, a 5.3. 0-0 sets the bar. Coming up next, please welcome the rookie, Cliff Turner, Velociraptor. Cliff Turner, he's been having the best year of his BeamNG season so far, the best event of his BeamNG season so far. But he's not necessarily won anything yet either. Now he's got a good opportunity. He did get some huge points at the last arena show in, I want to say Manchester, so maybe he can do it again. Get some nice technical moves in here. That's a good way to do it. Even pops it into a wheelie. That's what you like to see. Cliff Turner and the Velociraptor trying to get his first season amped up a little bit. Wow. He goes head over heels. Truck holds up perfectly. Not even a scratch to the body. And now he's got about half the time left to keep this alive and get some good points out of it. He can fill the clock. Cliff Turner, Velociraptor having a great night. Oh, nice. Goes in for a wheelie. Can he do it? Nice. Clears that ramp. What else can he do? Big wheelie. Oh, close, but he's got it under control. Maybe one more move to go here. Nice send. One of the biggest sends I've ever seen from Cliff Turner. Fills the clock. And that's going to do it. Second run of the night. Cliff Turner. Velociraptor. I think the truck might have been a little loud. I do apologize if that was the case. The mixing is always a little bit of a challenge to figure out in these streams. But if that is what the issue was, I did just notice that. Great run there for the Velociraptor. Get those scores in. All right. Let's see that score to beat from the Gravedigger was a 5.300. Experts give Cliff Turner a 7. Fans give him a 6.2. That's a 6.600. Your new leader, Cliff Turner, Velociraptor. Up next, please welcome Matt Doomer, Megalodon. Matt's been having a relatively nice night so far, but has yet to bring home any hardware for Team Megalodon. Let's see if he can change that up. He's got 75 seconds to make things happen, and a wheelie kicks off the run. Nice start so far. Nice truck control as well. What else can he do? Oh! Oh! Very nice. Almost ends the run right there, but he's got it back and running once again. Another good wow moment here in freestyle. We've already had quite a few of those so far. Matt Doomer now finds himself on that list, and that's always a good way to potentially take a lead in a competition. What else can he do? Oh, he's gonna need a save. Very nicely done. Matt Doomer might be a rookie, but he is not a bad driver. Two very different things, and he is demonstrating that right now. What else can he do? He might be going up and over again. What? Very, very impressive work for someone with as little driving experience as Matt Doomer. Oh my gosh. A crazy crash ends out the run. That truck just got all cattywampus, and he had no chance of saving that. You know, you can get some lucky rollovers, but some things you just cannot get back from, especially on a small floor like this arena space. All right. Get those scores in for the Megalodon, I got to say. That was a pretty fun run. I don't know. Lots of wow moments. I think there were 4 pretty major wow moments. A rollover, 2 big saves, and that crash madness at the end. All counting towards a pretty stellar freestyle run, in my opinion. Experts give it a 9. Fans give it a 9.2. Matt Doomer is your new leader, a 9.100 for the Megalodon. Biggest score of the event so far. Up next, your previous season leader, Triton Robbins, Crazy Train. He has been dethroned. Now he's got the task ahead of him to try to make up those points that he's lost so far in this show to really his own brother, who has been absolutely dominating the competition completely. So Triton Robbins and the Crazy Train, right off the bat, demonstrating some great driving abilities with some technical maneuvers and some combinations like that. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Let's hear it for Triton Robbins' Crazy Train. While the pressure was really high coming into this competition, you know, he had all those points to make up and all that gap to build, and unfortunately, I guess that kind of got to him right there. He goes over, tries to save it, couldn't save it. Sometimes that's just the luck of the draw. Really tough break for Triton Robbins as his great Cinderella story of his season starts to take a turn. Score to beat is a 9.100 for Matt Doomer and Megalodon. Fans score Triton Robbins a 4.6. Experts give it a 3. That's a 3.800. Currently enough for 4th place for Triton Robbins. Alright, we're halfway down, halfway to go. We're starting to reach the tail end of the event. Coming up, Carson Williams, ThunderROARus. One second here. Almost forgot to fix the audio. Alright, here comes Carson Williams. We're going to refire that dyno. He's ready to rock and roll. Carson Williams also in one of his first ever seasons driving a Monster Jam truck, and he is already looking like a complete natural behind the wheel. You'll love to see it. He is going crazy already. Oh, whoa! Oh, no way! I think he's the 4th driver of the entire event so far to go head over heels here in freestyle. This has been a great competition. Huge nose pick right there as well. Carson Williams is having a spectacular performance right now. And the ThunderROARus. Oh, this is going to be a crazy landing. Very nice, though. The truck holds up perfectly. He is having a great performance right now. Runs out of space right there. Don't usually want to reverse like that in the middle of a run, but then again, that's how technical moves were even invented to begin with, really. So, Carson Williams, oh, his rear steer is just locked. That might mess him up right here. Trying to pull that back, but that's gonna do it. RII kicks in, and that's a wrap for Carson Williams, ThunderROARus. A great freestyle run, though. No complaints whatsoever, really. You know, he left like 2 seconds on the clock, but that might as well be filled time by any realistic measures. Spectacular performance out there for the ThunderROARus machine. Carson Williams, a career-defining freestyle. Unlike anything I've ever seen him throw down, honestly. That was awesome. Score to beat a 9.100. Let's see those scores for the ThunderROARus. Experts are going to give that run an 8.5. Fans give it a 6.8. So that score for the ThunderROARus is 7.650. It's currently enough for 2nd place, 7.650. 3 more drivers left to go. Coming up next, Tony Ochs, Earthshaker. Tony Ochs looking to get his first big win of the night. He's got close a couple times, but he's yet to be able to get it done. But freestyle, I'd say, is where he shines best. And speaking of shines, look at the body. The crew, over the course of those last couple competitions, was able to get that body looking nice and fresh for the freestyle competition after his rollover earlier tonight. That's what you'll love to see. Teamwork makes the win. Oh my gosh. What? Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker. What on earth was that? I'm not even sure what to say to that maneuver. That was absolutely insane. Looks like he is eyeing the Morgan and Morgan backflip. Can he get this back without fail? Tony Ochs is putting down one of the craziest freestyle runs I have ever seen in an arena, let alone at all. This has been awesome. Now he's just starting to throw that truck at whatever angles he can find. He's going to pull out another save, maybe. Oh, no. That's twice tonight that Tony Ochs just overshoots his move and goes straight into the wall. He has turned a 5-point deduction into a 10-point deduction, but all I think matters in that run, or all I think that should be discussed from that, is those absolutely insane saves that he just put down. I don't even know what kind of commentary I can give that. He literally did everything. Like, that was crazy. Score to beat is still a 9.100 for the Megalodon. Get those scores locked in for Earthshaker. I mean, I am so blown away by that performance. Last call for scores from you fans. Right, that window is now closed. Let's take a look. Experts are going to give that run a 9.5. Fans give it a 7.1. So that score for Earthshaker, an 8.300. It's not going to be enough for Tony Ochs. Only enough for second place. 2 drivers left to go. And freestyle coming up. 25 years of one of the best, most iconic monster trucks ever created. Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco. Fernando has not really had many opportunities to put down a good run yet this year, because that chassis just likes to roll straight over. But he's had some time to maybe try and figure out what works best for him, figure out how he has to pace himself and stuff like that. So maybe we'll see that change here tonight. He is off to a great start in this run, I'll say that much. Oh, huge sky wheelie, whole back of that truck just came straight in. That was awesome. He's got half the time left to go. It might be Morgan and Morgan backflip time for El Toro Loco. He's got it. Oh! What? What? Fernando Martinez. El Toro Loco. He's back on all 4 tires. Trying to refire. And we are getting word from the booth. There is cage damage to the truck. This is not being made up, by the way. The truck genuinely cannot refire right now. You hear the efforts to refire. That truck is not refiring, but you know what? Even if it wasn't a completed run, that was probably the craziest thing any arena has ever seen. Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco, has finally figured it out. Unbelievable way to end out his freestyle run and what has been his best competitive night so far. He's not done yet, but that was his last run of the day. Score to beat, 9.100. Experts give that run a 9.25. Fans give it an 8.3. That's an 8.775. Fernando Martinez now is going to take over second place. Very well deserved spot as well. Coming up last, your overall event leader and current season points leader as well. Please welcome Montana Robbins, playing Krazy. Montana has the opportunity right now to make himself untouchable in the season points chase. Not if he rolls it over on the first hit, but who are we kidding? This is Montana Robbins. He will not be rolling it over on the first hit. He's going to pull out an amazing save instead. That's what I'm talking about. Great way to kick off the run. Oh, nice. So he is looking very technical right off the bat. And you know what? This is what gets it done for the Robbins brothers. In just about every show they do. This is what got it done for Montana in those halftime competitions as well. So he's putting down a nice run so far. Gonna have to step up a little bit though. Big side slap. Trying for another save. He is saved. Oh no! Let's hear it for playing Krazy. He could have saved it right there, but unfortunately he was shut off. As you can see, a broken 4-link bar. That is safety hazard. He was shut off when that was realized. So unfortunately for playing Krazy, gonna leave about 16 seconds on the clock. You know what though? That's not too much time at all. Montana Robbins still delivered one of the best runs of the event, even if it was a little short-lived. Score to beat, 9.100. Matt Doomer, Megalodon. Your score for playing Krazy, 6.902 from the fans, 7.25 from the experts, 7.076. Which means, for the first time in his BeamNG career, Matt Doomer and the Megalodon is your freestyle winner. That is a huge accomplishment right there for Team Megalodon. And Matt Doomer continues to rack up a ton of points for Ashley Sanford. Now, let's take a look at the season points chase implications right now. Triton Robbins drops to 69 points. Montana rises up to 82. Montana is making himself untouchable in the season points chase. Fernando is getting a ton more points. He's up to 55 points. He's sitting in 6th place, but he's very close to making his way back up from there. So, a lot of big points implications right now, but don't be fooled. We're not done yet. Now, if you're new here, you might have thought we were done now, but we're not. Because a special Monster Jam truck is celebrating 25 years of excellence. And a certain driver out here wants to celebrate that. Now, before we get to that, I should note your overall event champion was, of course, to no real surprise, Montana Robbins and the Playing Krazy, who racked up 34 points. That is a lot of points to get in an arena show. Absolutely great work. Fernando Martinez got very close, though. He managed to rack up 31 points. That is by far the best event he's had all season so far. Triton Robbins has now dropped to 2nd place on the season, though, so he's got some work to do. But you all know what time it is. Celebrating 25 years of history. El Toro Loco, Fernando Martinez, is ready for the encore of a lifetime. You can see what's left of that Playing Krazy Monster Jam truck out there on the track. And I'm sure Fernando's ready to have some fun with that. Now, it's fitting for Montana to be up there being your overall event champion anyway. But Fernando's got his celebration to put down, and he is off to a nice start. Clears playing crazy. Does he do it again? Unbelievable. There is nowhere else where you will see a monster truck clear another monster truck 3 times. He just keeps coming he just keeps coming with more clearings of that playing crazy machine. Fernando Martinez showing what El Toro Loco is all about. No way he does it from the log stack. Wow! I lost count. I genuinely just lost count of how many times Fernando Martinez has done that. Oh, it might be Morgan and Morgan backflip time in the encore. Oh no! He's trying to get it back. That's gonna do it. Let's hear it for Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco. Comes down hard on the landing. Unfortunately, that is going to put a bit of an early end to his night. But on that note, that was Monster Jam Arena All Out Series. That was absolutely awesome. That was by far my favorite event that this series has seen all year. I hope the halftime show adds some more depth. I would like some more feedback on how you fans are liking the halftime show. I will say today's halftime show / extra performances were a little bit lackluster, but that's just because they're brand new. There's a lot to figure out with both the vehicles and the driving of them, so don't worry, it's all uphill from here. This Arena All Out Series is going to become, honestly, despite going to the smallest venues, the biggest one to watch, because the points chase is going to be even more interesting than ever. Thank you all for heading out to this event. Thank you, Virtual, for sticking around from front to back. That is what it's all about. That's the kind of thing that makes these events possible. I'll see you all next time.